Says it's that time again. Well, as you can see, I'm holding my Motorola i1 in my hands, and yes, this is the one we'll be looking at today. On the front, you've got a plethora of buttons. You've got physical call and end shutdown keys. You've got the speaker, clear, home, and keyboard keys, which are touch keys. On that side, you have the push to talk or the direct connect button. Volume toggles above it. On that side is the dedicated camera button. Press it hard for like 3 weeks and the application's going to start. This is the locking hitch for the back plate. This secures the faceplate, and it's actually very hard to remove to keep dust and all that crap out. On the upside of the phone, here is the headphone jack. I'll show it to you, and it has been a disappointment. .5 fucking millimeters. That fucking pisses me off. Lock key, this locks the screen and the keys. 2.5 millimeters. I mean, what the fuck? You've got the Android music player, and you can't even be fucking asked to put a 3.5 millimeter headset jack to allow me the convenience of using my own fucking headphones. No, of course not. Well, at least it supports stereo Bluetooth, so I just might have to order a pair of Bluetooth headsets and get rid of those fucking headsets. Nah. Enough of that. Here's the home screen, which you've seen a little bit previously. The i1 has 3 home screens, and yes, that is a screenshot of my most recent Collins game. Every now and then you'll see those little objects, things. They are, for the most part, shortcuts or widgets, which can be added, through the menu. There's a plethora of them available. I'll show the widgets. Don't go postal on these things, though, as they drain memory, which means your phone will run a little bit slower. Just keep what's necessary. Shortcuts to applications, any applications you got on the phone, bookmark, contacts, music playlist, that kind of stuff. This thing you see right there is a shortcut to my music playlist. Just hit that icon and any new tracks on the micro SD card will be automatically added to the library while it reloads the entire playlist, but you get the point. On the up of the phone you have the speaker, which is on right now, of course. This black bell thing is your volume gauge. Ringtones are off right now. The green phone with the 1 is, well, line 1. Signal strength, pretty damn good. Battery gauge, yes, battery is going low, but it's not going to crap out on me. The time, which is absolutely correct, since this is a valid iDEN SIM that is connected to the network. So, what's next? Here is your call menu. This brings up the dialer as well as your missed calls, call log, that kind of stuff. This brings up your contacts. I'm not going to open it since I've got contacts in my phone and, well, they're my business and not anyone else's, so I'll just leave it to that. Here's the Android menu, alarm clock, blackjack. I realize the screen is a little horrible to read. Just hold on, I'll fix that. Yeah, this should be better. Alarm clock, blackjack, browser, well, don't touch that with a 1,000-foot pole. It uses the iDEN network, which is not very good for data. If you need to check your occasional email or such, it works good, but not much else. Calculator, calendar, call log, camcorder, camera, contacts, dialer, email, Gmail. Yes, you can sync your Gmail account as well as any other email account, and this works good. I've checked it out. Google Maps, Google Talk, well, standard Google applications. InvadeDroid, that's a custom app that I installed. This is Space Invaders, for the Android. Jewel Hunter, this is a Bejewel-like game. I love those kind of things. Market, this brings you to the Android Market applications. Blah! Android Application Market. Ooh, hail the leaf. Media Library, this is where your pictures and videos and all that are stuck. Messaging, self-explanatory. Music, My Sign. I'll show My Sign since this is an interesting little gizmo. With your finger, you can do little gestures that will do certain functions. Like if I do an inverted pentagram on that screen, it's going to cut the connection to the network. I customized this gesture myself. It's cool as hell. Pretty fun to do. Opera Mini, of course. This is the best browser for iDEN networks. Personal portal, I never screwed around with that. Quick Office, well, this is office-related apps. I haven't checked them out. Settings, this brings the plethora of settings for the i1. Setup, this is when you initially get your phone and want to set basic settings and all that. Sound recorder, self-explanatory. Tarotbot OS, this is a little tarot application that I installed myself. Voice control, related to voice dialing. I'll show you a little bit of the settings. Wireless control, call settings, sounds display, data synchronization, security location, applications, SD card, date, time, local text, USB, network management, about phone, a lot of shit in there. System updates, this is about phone, this is information about your handset. Let's see right there, model number i1, firmware version 1.5. Yes, this runs Android 1.5. At first I had a little bit of not expectations, but doubts about this phone running Android 1.5. I mean, there are phones that use 2.2, which apparently I hear is so much better. I'll play devil's advocate for a second here, but one challenge of bringing Android to the iDEN networks was to successfully integrate the push-to-talk applications into Android. Since Motorola uses proprietary code, which is known only to Motorola themselves for their iDEN platform, this was a trick to get to work. Now, I hear that the i1 will be updated to version 1.6 somewhere down the line, and, well, sucks. Well, not that it really makes a difference, honestly. I mean, some applications will not be compatible, some others will not run. You might have some weird bugs and all that, but other than that, there's really nothing negative to say about Android 1.5. It's an older version. It's not as polished as 2.2, which has better power management and all that kind of stuff, but still, the i1 is, to my experience, a very good all-around phone. And I almost forgot, this right there and right there are speakers. They are insanely high quality, and listening to music is a pleasure. I'll show you just before I wrap this review up. Hail the leaf. Volume has not been cranked all the way up because, well, it's not necessary. Back to the i1 though. If you're someone who needs push-to-talk or direct connect in the iDEN network and you like to have a smartphone this is one of your very rare options. I mean, this is one of the only iDEN smartphones I hold in my hand. The other is being held in my other hand. It is the BlackBerry 8350i. So, if you want iDEN but want a smartphone, your options are pretty limited. I'd say that the i1 is a very good phone, and don't get me wrong, so is the 8350i. Both phones have their pros and both phones have their cons, but the i1 overall has been very satisfying for me. And since I like the iDEN network, the sound quality and all that, this is a seriously solid phone, and I freaking love the i1. Android took a little learning curve, but the more I use it, the more I love it. Well, that was the Motorola i1. Was it worth the wait? I hope so.